What's going on, everybody? This is Michael here, and a lot of you guys who are watching this. You're probably well aware of the 20-year-old that went missing in Iowa a month ago and was found dead yesterday. And yeah, it's a pretty big thing that's making the news. And first off, I want to start by saying, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of Mollie Tibbetts, which that's the girl, that's the name of the girl, that was killed in Iowa. Now, what I'm going to be talking about is what people have been saying, and I'm still learning a lot about what's going on and why this happened, and I'm mainly trying to learn more about the guy that killed her, because yeah, we all know he's an illegal immigrant. He pretty much lied and came up with some false information just to get a job at a farm. So yeah, I'm gonna try and keep politics out of this as much as I can. I don't really like talking about politics, so if I do end up talking about politics in this, so what, so be it. But yeah, she was going. For those of you who aren't aware of the situation, which you should be, hopefully, she was going for a jog about a month or so back, and she never did come home. Her boyfriend, I believe that's who I heard an interview from a month back. He said that he was working on a place somewhere else in Ohio, and not Ohio, Iowa, and he said he came back and Mollie did not come home. And there were a bunch of concerns that grew over time. I didn't know much about it until like 2 weeks ago. That interview that he had made was probably made about like 5 or 6 days before I actually watched it. But unfortunately, yesterday, her family and friends had to learn the unfortunate truth, which it's really devastating to hear about. It's unfortunate that she was not alive when they found her. It's really sucks. And she was only 20 years old. She had a whole entire life ahead of her that she had planned, and all that just gone. I didn't know her personally, but I watched some of the interviews from her family and friends, and and yes, I know what it's like to lose a friend like that. It's really tough. It's something you should never expect to happen, because especially with parents, parents shouldn't have to bury their own kids, and unfortunately that's what has to happen. Mollie's parents have to bury her. It's not a good thing to think about. And I feel for her friends. I feel for her family. You know, it's really tough. I was coming home from work last night when I heard that they had found her dead in a field. Luckily, which you guys, if you know she's dead, you should at least you should already know by now that they found her killer. But yes, they found her killer. They released the name, and it's confirmed that he's an illegal immigrant. People will talk about how illegal immigrants get separated from their families just for coming to this country illegally. I'm gonna say this right now, and I've said this in another video, and I will say this again. You come into this country illegally, doesn't matter how long you stay here. It doesn't matter if you started having a family here or if you have a job. And it doesn't matter how long. If you don't get yourself, or how do I say this right? If you don't sign up to become a legal citizen, or you just refuse to, you don't need to be here. Simple as that. I know I'm probably going to get a crap ton of hate for saying that, but whatever. Truth hurts, but anyway, back to the subject. The guy that killed her, Rivera, I'm just gonna call him Rivera. I know his name. I don't know. I don't want to mispronounce it and then sound like an idiot, but like I said, I'm still learning about what's going on and what's not going on, but of course he's the killer of Mollie. It's I don't know what kind of charges he's facing at this point, but he's under a lot of trouble, which I'm thankful that they caught him. But my biggest question is, since he's an illegal immigrant, what are they gonna do now? Because, I watched an interview of a mother who lost her husband and 2 kids in an accident that involved an illegal immigrant, and that illegal immigrant drove drunk, injured the mother, and, like I said, killed 3 of her family members. And he only got 3 years for that. So if that illegal immigrant only gets 3 years, how many years is this illegal immigrant gonna get? I'm not exactly sure what state that other tragedy I was talking about happened in, but if it were to happen in California or New York, mainly California in particular, chances are they wouldn't have charged him all that much. And this illegal immigrant in Iowa that killed Mollie, if that were to happen in California, chances are he wouldn't be facing a whole lot. Because, liberal law runs pretty big in California. California has mainly become a sanctuary state. It's kind of fucked up, but if that's really what people in California want, that's whatever. Michigan has some downsides, which if you haven't watched my channel, I'm from Michigan, but with that being said, I'm not saying just because you live in California that you're automatically a liberal. Because, I know a lot of people who are conservatives, of course, or they claim to be, at least, that live in California. But anyway, again, it's sad to have to hear about this, Hopefully they do charge Rivera real good. I heard about his bond. They said $5 million or something like that. But I wanted to make this, and I know I kind of went off subject, and I highly do apologize. But again, if you're friends or a family member to Mollie, again, my thoughts and prayers go out to you guys. I'm terribly sorry you guys had to go through this. It's really sad. So that's pretty much all I gotta say. I kept politics out of this as much as I could. But, if I said some things that might have sounded wrong, I highly apologize. But, thanks for watching. Yep.